Welcome to our recorded discussion. So our topic now is time value of money. So I am your discussant, Professor Rebecca McKilling. Our objective is to explain how the time value of money works and discuss why it is such an important concept in finance. We will also calculate the present value and the future value of lump sum payment, and then identify the different types of annuities, those for installment payments, no? Calculate the present value and the future value of both an ordinary annuity and an annuity due, and calculate the relevant annuity payments. We will also calculate the present value later and future value of the uneven cash flow stream. But now, yung i-discuss natin hanggang 1 to 3. Okay? And then, one of the objectives also is to explain the difference between the nominal, the periodic, and effective interest rates. Understanding this concept, because this is necessary when comparing the rates of return on alternative investment. We will also discuss the basics of loan amortization and develop a loan amortization schedule that you might use when considering an auto loan or home mortgage loan. But these four objectives, I will record it later, no? So we will only discuss the first three. So let's look on future value. Future value is the amount of money which will grow over a period of time with simple or compounded interest. It is one of the most important concepts of finance, and it is based on the time value of money. Investors use this method to know that what will be the future value of their investment after a certain period of time, calculates based on the assumed growth rate. So one example of the future value is when you deposit money in the bank. Future value basically tells us how much money you will get in any sort of investment in the coming future. So our formula for the future value is FV, stands for future value, is equal to PV, which is present value, multiply with 1 plus R raised to the power of N. R is our interest rate, N is our period or time. So how do we get this formula? Remember in your ano ba yan sa inyong ABM class? Interest is equal to principal times rate, di ba? So, to get the future value, principal plus the interest. Okay? So, you will put the formula of interest in the first formula. So, future value is equal to P plus P times R. And then, using your algebra, future value is equal to P times 1 plus R. So, this is basically the formula of our future value. But, we have certain periods. So, this is for 1 year only. So, kung nag 2 years na, so we have an N here. So, you change it for 2, for 3, and for whatever years, no? For how many years. Okay? So, yun ang pagkuha ng ating formula for the future value. So, our example here. What is the future value of your investment in bank after 10 years if you deposited 100,000 today, considering that the interest rate is 10% per annum? Pero usually, hindi talaga yan 10% per annum in reality, no? When you are in the commercial bank, our interest is 0.05% or 1% per annum, which is very, very low. But we will assume only here that what if the interest rate is 10% per annum and you deposited 100,000 on the bank and then you want to wait it for 10 years? How much is the future value of your money na 100,000? And future value is using compounding, meaning when we say compounding, your principal plus interest, so for that year, it will be mag-add na ulit, no? Mag-compound ulit ng another interest. So, yan ang concept ng future value. So let's look using our formula. PV times 1 plus R raised to the n power. So our future value is equal to 100,000. This is your present value. Ito yung payment mo. Ito yung deposit mo ngayon. I-deposit mo on the bank. 100,000. 1 plus R, the rate is 10%. So 1.10. So 10%. So meaning to say you need to move it backwards. So to make it decimal point. So 0.10 raised to the 10th year, 10 years. So if you will, I hope you have your calculator. If you have your scientific calculator, first is you compute muna on the 1 plus R raised to the n power. So 1.10 and then raised to the 10th power before you will multiply the 100,000. So that is 259,374. 10 years from now, your money will become 259,374. But you need to wait for 10 years. Okay. Unfortunately, in the CPA board exam, you cannot use the scientific calculator. So, bawal si scientific calculator in the CPA board exam. So, meaning you will use yung digital, yung simple calculator. So, using a non-scientific calculator, how would you get the yung answer natin? So, first is you need to compute the 1.1 plus R. So, 1.10, multiply it with one another. So, times 1.1. That is for 2 years na yan. 1.21, 2 years na yan nga kuan. And then, kasi 10 years, so you count. So, meron na tayong 2, mag-equals ka na lang. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you get 2.59374246. Usually, you will round it off to 5 digit, no? So, pero ang gitaas na ko. Pero usually, i-round off mo yan sa 5 digits. So, 2.593774. Okay? Times 100,000. And then you answer. So, you need to familiarize using non-scientific calculator, no? Kasi you will be planning to take the CPA board exam. Okay? So, that's the concept of non-scientific. So, let's look on what if you will wait only for 1 year and then you will get your deposit in the bank. So, how much is the future value of that money? Okay, so using 1 year, plug in the formula, 100,000 times 1.10 raised to the 1 power, so 110,000. So, okay, for 110,000 1 year from now. How about for 2 years? So, plug in the formula, 121,000 2 years from now. Or if you are using scientific calculator, 1.1 times 1.1, that is for 2 years already, times 100,000. Okay, so 121,000 for 2 years. So again, future value, we are using compounding, no? You compound the interest. Okay, what is the future value of an initial $100 after 3 years if the interest per year is 4%? Okay, you may use timeline here, show the timing of cash flow. What is asked in the problem is finding the future value of cash flow or series of cash flow. This is called compounding like the bank. Okay, so let's look. Using the step-by-step financial calculator and spreadsheet method, that we will only use the calculator method, no, not on the spreadsheet. So let's look on it. 100, you deposit, and then you want to know after 3 years how much is the future value of it. Now 4% per year. So first is get the future value factor, which is 1 plus 0.04 raised to the third power, and then multiply it with $100. So 1.04 raised to the third power times $100. So, dapat yung answer natin is 112.4864. Okay? So, ito. Oh, 112.4864 or round it off to 112.49. So, for year 1, Ayan, isa muna. For year 2, dalawa na. For year 3, tatlo na. So, kaya pumasok yung ating formula which is future value is equal to present value times 1 plus r raised to the n power. If you are using Excel, pwede din, but I will not encourage you to use Excel, no? Kasi during the CPA board exam, we will use this formula, or we will use yung analog, yung non-scientific calculator. Okay, so kung Excel, um, yung 100, payment yan, like you put it in the payment. And then, walang N per, the rate is 0.04, walang PV, and then type is, leave it blank lang, no? Higaan na ang ating Excel. How about the future value of 100 after 3 years, but still 4% ang per annum, pero semi-annual compounding and quarterly compounding. So, ano ang gagawin natin nito? Okay? Yung kanina, yung example natin, the 4% per annum lang yun. So, walang compounding per annum. But this one is semi-annual compounding. So, when we say semi-annual compounding, every 6 months, your interest will be compound plus principal plus interest, and then compound it, no? So ganun ang ating concept. While quarterly, every 3 months. So we have 4 quarters in a year. Okay? So same formula pa rin tayo. Future value is equal to present value times 1 plus r raised to the n power. But your rate will change, no? Your rate, kasi this is semi-annual and quarterly. So for semi-annual, so take note ha, you put your money on 0 year or 0 date. Okay? In time period na 0. And then, every quarter or every semi-annual, every 6 months, nag-compound siya. So meaning, ma-encounter niya yung mga compounding because in time period 0, naka-invest ka na doon. Okay? So, first is compute your R. Mag-iba si R kasi this is compounding, no? And then semi-annual. So, kasi yung 4% natin, silent ang problem per annum yan usually. So, get first the semi-annual rate, 0.04 divided by 2. So, our R now would be 0.02. Okay? Kaya if you observe in this one, nagiging 0.02. But your and also your time, no? Kasi semi-annual, so we have two semi-annual periods in 1 year. So 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So our n is also 6, no? Nag-change. So if you have 4% semi-annual compounding, our future value is 112.62. But for quarterly, you may also change it. No, the R will change. 0.04 divided by 4. So our R now is 0.01. Your N will also change. So we have 3 years times 4 per quarter. So we have 12. So our future value is 112.68. Okay. So I will stop. Future value, ordinary annuity, and future value, annuity due. Okay. So level up, no? They are both used to predict the future values of a series of payments. So, yung kanina, lump sum payment yun, lump sum investing. Meaning you deposit one time and then you need to wait for how many years. This one, iba. Kasi you invest in installment. Okay? So, we will use ordinary annuity and annuity due. The only difference is that when we are using future value ordinary annuity, it is used where the payment is made at the end of the payment method, while the future value annuity due is used when the payment is made immediately at the beginning of the payment method. So, anong ibig sabihin yan? Remember the time series, di ba? We have year 0, year 1. Okay? So, in year 0, if you deposit in year 0, you use the future value annuity due. But if you deposit in year 1, in time 1, at the end, you are using future value, ordinary annuity. But take note, you can only use this one if may mga installment payment. Okay? So, our formula here is ito. Your payment, ay, this is part of the book, no? You just ignore this one. Ano lang mo lang ha. Dapat FV, future value, is equal to PV, or payment, times 1 plus R raised to the n minus 1 over R. Ito, 1 plus R raised to the n minus 1, this is the future value factor. Okay? Ito yun. Okay? Future value factor yan. This is used for FB ordinary annuity. Okay? While this one is used for future value annuity due. Okay? You multiply with another 1 plus R. Okay, let's look. Example. For example, assume someone decides to invest 125,000 per year for the next 5 years in an annuity they expect to compound at 8% per year. Okay? The expected future value of this payment stream using the above formula is as follows. So, 125 per year for the 5 years, the same installment, and you expect na ma-compound siya for 8%. This is our interest, no? Okay, so our formula, so 125,000, this is the present value, times our present value factor, which is 1.08 raised to the 5-year, and then you need to minus it 1, and then divide it with the rate 0.08. So our future value is 733,325. Okay? If you are using, kasi ordinary annuity, kasi deposit it every year, no? Next, if nag-pay siya at the beginning of each period, no? What is the future value? So, using the future value annuity due. Diba? Kasi you pay it on the beginning. So, our formula, present value, 125,000 times the present value factor of ordinary annuity, 1.08 raised to the 5th power minus 1 divided by 0.08. Okay? Pero meron siyang payment at the beginning kasi, so multiply it again with 1.08. So our future value annuity due is 791,991. Okay? So if you will compare both the ordinary annuity and annuity due, which is greater, much greater ang ating katong annuity due kasi beginning of the year pa lang manggod, nag-deposit na siya. So nag-compound na 'yun, no? Nag-compound na 'yun. Compare sa ordinary annuity, at the end of the period pa siya nag-invest. So meaning yung first year niya wala pa siyang interest, no? Ito yung beginning pa lang naka-interest na yung pagka-after 1 year. Okay, kaya much greater si annuity due compared to the ordinary annuity. Okay? Okay, next. What's the future value of a 3-year, $100 annuity if the quoted interest rate is 4% compounded semi-annually? So take note of it that the payment occurs annually, but the compounding occurs every 6 months. So you cannot use normal annuity valuation here. Yung formula natin, no? Yung future value is equal to present value times the future value factor of annuity of 1. You cannot use it since the annuity due, the installment happens every year at the end of the year. If kung ang installment nito semi-annual din, let's say on the 6 months nag-installment ka, naghulog ka sa bank installment, so you can use that one, no, yung formula natin, but this one is hindi kasi you only deposit at the end of the year, okay? And then, ang compounding is 6 months. So, here, the 4%, you assume that this is per year. You divide it first with 2 kasi we have 2 semi-annual in 1 year. So, 4% divided by 2. So, every 6 months, we have compounded 2%. Okay? 2% interest. So, you cannot use the annuity valuation, but you may use the series, the time frame. Okay? So, look on it. We have in the zero period, walang interest. No? So, take note, yung period na natin dito every 6 months. So, for 2 periods, for 1 year yan. And for 4 periods, 2 years na yan. And then on the 6th period, 3 years na yan. Kasi ang ating kasing interest is semi-annual, okay? So, yung 100 deposited in the first year, mag-interest na yan for how many periods? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, itong 1 year nga deposited in first year, mag-interest yan compounded for 4 periods. Yung deposit natin in the second year, mag-compound yan for 2 periods of 5 and 6. While yung na-deposit natin in the third year, hindi na yan mag-interest. Okay? So, let's look on our solution. Okay, so, this is it, no? So, in period 2, nag-interest siya for 4 period. So, $100 times 1.02 raised to the 4th power. Yung period 4, in the 2 years, nag-interest siya for 2 periods. So, plus 100 times 1.02 raised to the 2 power, while the last one, wala siyang interest. So, our answer here is 312.28. Okay, another example. So, look at our timelines. So, the first one is you deposited at the end of the year, and then you are looking for the future value at 3 years. Our interest rate is 4% per annum. The other example is an even cash flow, but you deposited or you invest it immediately from 0 period, and then you are waiting for 3 years. Okay? So, in the first figure, you may use the ordinary annuity formula. Okay? Kasi even man ang kanilang deposit. So, your formula would be future value is equal to present value times the future value factor, future value annuity of 1, which is 1 plus r raised to the n power, and then answer of it minus 1, and then divide it with r. Okay? So, 100 times 3.12161. So, our future value there is 312.16. Or you may use yung mano-mano. Okay? For one period, maka-interest na yan yung deposit mo in the in year 1 or period 1, maka-interest na yan for 2 years, no? For 2 years. Okay? So, 1.04 raised to the 2 power. Yung year 2, maka-interest na yan for 1 year. So, 100 times 1.04, but on year 3, wala na yung interest. So, plus 100. So, your answer is 312.16. So, same pa rin yung answer. How about on the other one? An even cash flow yun. So, immediately, you deposit or you invest 50 in year 0 or immediate. So, mag-interest yan until to the third year. So, 50 times 1.04 for 3 years. Okay, ang 100, you deposit it at the end of year 1. So, maka-interest yan for 2 period. So, 1.04 raised to the 2 power. And then, on the second year, maka-interest lang yan for 1 year. So, 75 times 1.04. While on the third year, the $50, wala na yung interest. So, our answer now is 292.4.